Good morning and hey now, PASW staff, clients, and friends. Welcome to Tuesday's class. Hope you guys had a nice little holiday yesterday for Labor Day. This is Film Scoring Mondays, but it's going to be on a Tuesday. So I thought that we could still, that gives you one less extra day to think about what to choose. But you guys are all professionals, so I'm sure we can come up with something if you send to me by tomorrow night. So later today, tomorrow night would be great for the film scoring challenge, and we'll see the results on Friday. It was very fun looking at Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, and I loved your guys' results. Today we're going to look at one of the most famous action movies, a movie that really changed, one of the biggest blockbusters of all time. And today we're going to be scoring a scene from the very famous Jurassic Park. We've all seen this movie. I saw it when I was 9 years old in the theater at the Vista Theater, and was excited and terrified at the same time. This came out in 1993, and we'll talk a little bit about Jurassic Park. We'll talk about the music score, and we're going to talk about your assignment. So we're going to have a lot of fun. So welcome to Jurassic Park. I was reluctant just because I know that's a little cheesy, but Jurassic Park is 93 and directed by the famous Steven Spielberg. Now we've done E.T. and we've done Jaws, so this will be our third Steven Spielberg film. The very famous director who is known for really creating the first blockbuster movie with Jaws. And this is probably his most commercially successful movie. So with North by Northwest, we were in Mount Rushmore in South Dakota, right? Okay, let's go to where they filmed Jurassic Park, which is Kauai, an island in Hawaii. And Jurassic Park was a novel first in 1990. Michael Crichton wrote the book and had the idea since 1981 about this, but couldn't really figure it out until around the late 80s. He was talking to Spielberg about this idea, and and Spielberg optioned it immediately. Universal did. They paid him millions just before it was even finished. It was such a great idea, and so Spielberg wanted to pounce on it. And they made this, the very famous science fiction adventure film. And that year, 93, a lot of great movies came out, and particularly a lot of great action movies came out. You had The Fugitive, you had Cliffhanger, In the Line of Fire came out, and other comedies like Sleepless in Seattle and Miss Doubtfire. So it was a good year for movies. And also, Schindler's List came out that same year, which is another Spielberg film. So he was literally finishing Jurassic Park and going to Poland to work on Schindler's List. And so he was kind of doing two movies at the same time, which he said was extremely difficult, and rightly so. You can understand. So we kind of know the story about Jurassic Park, where the dinosaur DNA is, in the mosquito, and Richard Attenborough's character is, kind of this guy that wants to create this theme park, and this kind of zoo-like theme park, and invites Dr. Grant and Laura Dern and paleontologists who are kind of based on real people to come, and along with Jeff Goldblum and some other people, to come and see the park before it opens. And of course, as we know, things happen where technology fails and the electricity fails, and it just becomes all these dinosaurs get loose on this island, and it's very scary. It's funny. It's got some great lines. It's well written. The kids are funny in it. Spielberg's really good with creating good characters for kids, where they're not annoying. They're really kind of funny and move the plot along in a good way. So and the making of it was really, really intense. I mean, so the dinosaurs, it was a mixture. It was animatronics, and it was also CGI. And this was probably the first, I don't know if this is the first, but I think from what I'm telling, it's probably the first CGI movie. And so this mixture of this go motion technique with CGI, it was groundbreaking technology. And when Spielberg saw it, he said, "Yes, this CGI thing is whatever this new thing is. Let's use it. This is going to work." And right, he was. Not only visually, but Spielberg invested in a new sort of brilliant sound design. I mean, and we always talk about the importance of sound and music in a movie. So if there's no music, you better have good sound. If the sound's out of sync, if the sound is bad, the visual, at least for me, it's going to mess up the whole movie if the sound is bad. So to showcase it, Spielberg invested in this creation of DTS. So and that's a company that specializes in surround sound formats. So I mean, they spared no expense. Literally, that's the line from the movie. And it was also a $65 million marketing campaign. So yes, it was great, and everybody saw it. But you think about marketing is almost just as important as the product. You need to make sure you have funds for that. But it became a huge sensation. I mean, Spielberg made $250 million. That's, I think, before James Cameron, that's like the most a director's ever made off of a single movie. And I'm sure he's still making money from it. So Spielberg hired paleontologists, for consultants on the film. And at least up until that point, or maybe still, it's the most kind of accurate depiction of what, for the most part, what dinosaurs would have looked like. I mean, there's stuff about feathers and walking and stuff that I don't understand because I'm not a paleontologist. I know you thought I was, but I'm not. It's interesting because, okay, so the movie's 2 hours and 7 minutes. And there's the dinosaur footage is only about 15 minutes out of that, like combined. And what does that remind you of? When I read that, I said, "Oh, wait, that's like Jaws, where you don't see the shark that much. Really, the whole thing is this suspense of when is the shark going to come." And usually the music would indicate that. And with Jurassic Park, it's that great, clever motif of the water, of the drops, of when you hear, the big footsteps of the T-Rex coming close. That perhaps is another great device that Spielberg is using to create suspense and anticipation, and it works so well. So that's out of 15 minutes out of over a 2 hour plus movie. It's not that much screen time. You do see the dinosaurs, of course, but again, it just shows the mastery of directing and creating good characters, good dialogue, good acting with action around it, but you're waiting for this action. And so it's not 2 hours of just cool special effects. Anyone can, for the most part, if you have enough money, anyone can do 2 hours of special effects. If you don't have all these other things, it just becomes, and there's I think a lot of movies that do rely on that. But very cool that he kind of, even though this is 20 years after Jaws or so, he's still using this directing skill of luring the viewers and the audience in with creating just master of suspense. Now, who is the master of suspense? The last film scoring challenge we did was Hitchcock, right? And another person where sometimes not that much is going on, but a lot is going on mentally, emotionally in the viewer and us, So that's kind of interesting. So we all know the music to this. I mean, the theme music. And of course, we've talked about the famous John Williams, and that's his favorite collaborator. He's used on it, for going back to Jaws. Jaws is really what made both of them famous. And it went on to show that it wasn't just a fluke or a one-time thing. They really have an amazing collaboration together throughout the years, even up to now. So John Williams composed the music pretty quickly at the beginning of 1993. And he didn't orchestrate this. But he wrote it on the piano and sent it to Spielberg, and Spielberg would listen to it on a cassette while he was on the set and working on Schindler's List. So, but within a month, he was already conducting. So he wrote the score very quickly. He was already conducting it at Skywalker Ranch, the sessions, and The music's beautiful. You know, it uses the full orchestra, a choir, some other kind of percussive instruments and harps, and you know, it's lovely. Um, it is. It kind of has this sense of wonderment, you know. I mean, especially the scene that we're going to be looking at when they see the dinosaurs for the first time. It's an adventurous spirit. It's like we're going on an adventure together, and the tone is not scary. It's not sentimental though. It's just very majestic, I think. And the Jurassic Park theme is really just a 5 note motif. Da 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 da. That's how simple it is when you break it down. It's just 5 notes. So okay, so let's look at the scene with the music that you're going to be scoring.
How fast are they?
Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh.
Say again.
We have a T-Rex.
Wow.
Put your head between your knees.
Dr. Grant. My dear Dr. Sattler. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
They're moving in herds. They do move in herds. How'd you do this? I'll show you.
One of the most famous cinematic scenes in history. It's gorgeous, and it also shows you the good acting because, you know, who knows what they're seeing. They're not seeing that. You know, the actors aren't seeing that. So I mean, their expressions are just priceless. It's so great. It's beautiful, and the music. There's just the strings, the full orchestra. It makes you feel like you're a part of this terrific theme park that's going to open and be beautiful. Little do we know, you know, some serious stuff's going to be going down later, but it's gorgeous. Okay, let's listen to it without the music.
Well, we clocked the T-Rex to 32 miles an hour.
T-Rex?
Mm-hmm.
You said you've got a T-Rex?
Uh-huh.
Say again.
We have a T-Rex. Dr. Grant. My dear Dr. Sattler. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
How'd you do this? I'll show you.
Who knows, right? A little uncertain. Could go different directions. I remember we did some of this in one of the classes, and Joe was correct. Joe Seavey was right where he thought it looked scarier without the music. Let's see what you think. You can use music you can use less music. You don't have to score the whole thing. You know, you can tell me when you want the music in, when you want it out. It's up to you. You're the film composer. And see what works. This is, you know, just a fun creative exercise. So I'll post this scene afterwards, of course, and we're gonna score Jurassic Park. Look at us. We're becoming very cool filmmakers. So please join along if you haven't. This is the scene. Come up with a piece of music. Doesn't have to be original. It can be YouTube or Spotify. Something that you think, hey, this would sound good with it. If it's Slipknot, great. If it's rap, great. Whatever you think is gonna fit. So. That'll be fun. So get that into me by tomorrow because we have a shorter week. And it's still going to be a fun week. But yeah, and okay, good to be back. Nice work today. Miss you, love you. See you tomorrow.